The loss of Dan James with a hand to really get his season going. And layoff. Flings his corner in.
Enjoyed myself.
Here's Tanaka! Oh. They bogle this time and clips it across. And Edmondson. Here's Adarabioyo, nicked away from him by Okafor.
Hello everyone, so this is my first video on this channel and I'm so excited to start this journey with all of you. I'm basically a football fan just like you all, giving commentary on a game we all love and enjoy. So let's get into the Chelsea game. So the world champions Chelsea had a clash with Leeds, which was supposed to be another step forward for a team that looked absolutely fearless against some of Europe's arguably biggest side. Instead, the final whistle told a different story and not one any Chelsea fan wanted to hear. This was literally how some of the Chelsea fans slept yesterday, literally crying on their bed sheets. And I understand them because it's painful to draw against Arsenal, playing against an 11-man side, down one of your key players and still managing to walk out with a draw, and losing against Leeds. It's got to hurt because let's remember who this Chelsea team has faced and beaten. The same side that dominated the Parisians to lift the Club World Cup, where we saw an absolute masterclass from Cole Palmer.
Pulls it back for Palmer! We're in a dangerous area again. He's bought himself some room and he's found the corner again!
The same team that beat the Premier League champions Liverpool in a 2-1 win, courtesy of a 96th-minute winner by Estêvão, Chelsea's new star boy, as they claim. But I do think the kid got potential. They just don't have to put too much pressure on him so that he loses focus. Because a lot of these young players are hyped up at a very young age and they get overused, get injured, and it slows down their growth as a player. So I think Estêvão is a good kid, is a good player. So hopefully he breaks into one of the best players in the country and in the world. I think he has the potential to be one of the best. So let's see what he does for the Blues. Just recently, the Blues faced off against the Spanish giants Barcelona, and they gave them a thrashing that nobody expected, a scoreline that no Blues fans thought would have happened that day. But it was 3-0 at the end of the day, and every Chelsea fan was happy. I was watching that game and I had no idea that was going to be the scoreline at the end of the game, but kudos to the Blues for that exciting match they played for us. So what actually happened in Leeds? A lot of noise after the match centered around Enzo Fernández's rotation. So fans insisted the game was already gone the moment certain players were left out. Names like Reece James and Fofana came up, and I get it. They are two of the best defenders the team has. But here's the simple truth. They are not fully fit, and Maresca can't run them into the ground and risk a long-term injury for any of them. So he needs to know how to manage his players. But there's one decision I can look past on Maresca, because tell me why he's playing Trevor Chalobah out of position. You have Trevor Chalobah being one of your best centre-backs of the season, the most consistent defender in the squad, who even scored a goal in your previous game. And I love the way he celebrated, by the way. He was pushed to right back, and that matters. Chelsea could have kept him in his natural role, paired him with either Tosin or Badiashile, who are not too trusted defenders, but at least pairing them with one who is very good helps the back line. Instead, the defensive structure was off from the first whistle of the game, with Tosin and Badiashile playing together, which we all knew was a recipe for disaster. And speaking of the back line, Tosin had a night to forget. Looking through Chelsea's recent round of games, a clear trend starts to appear when you look into the Chelsea team. The team's defensive stability shifts depending on whether Tosin is involved or not, whether he starts or he's on the bench. The numbers tell a different story, and they don't lie. When Tosin plays, Chelsea concede more goals. Across the matches where Tosin has featured, Chelsea struggled defensively, not just isolated incident. It is a pattern, and I repeat, it is a pattern. So let's look at this beautiful chart from Vidic, who posted it on Twitter. And from what you can see, you can arguably see why Tosin is not good for the team. Because against Sunderland, Tosin comes on, Chelsea concede and lose 2-1. We all know how they lost that 2-1. And against Wolves in the EFL Cup, Chelsea win, but they concede 3 goals with Tosin involved. Against Karabakh, a 2-2 draw with 2 conceded. Against Arsenal, a 1-1 draw, but Chelsea conceded again. Leeds, a tough 3-1 defeat, which we are talking about currently, with 3 conceded. So, these aren't small numbers. Whenever Tosin is playing and it's part of the defensive setup, Chelsea allow more pressure, give away big chances, and find it harder to maintain control at the back. And I'm not trying to throw or clown on the guy because a player can improve. But come on, this constant mistakes is causing the team. And I'm not trying to be biased because I'm a United fan or anything like that, but I'm just trying to state the fact. And I know most of the Chelsea fans know what I'm talking about. So this doesn't automatically mean he's the sole issue because Chelsea have a lot of problems. But his presence aligns with games where Chelsea's defensive line looks more vulnerable. And without Tosin, the back line looks significantly tighter. The contrast is very clear. In games where Tosin is absent, Chelsea's defense shows far more composure and structure. Because let's look at the game against Wolves. A 3-0 win, a clean sheet. Against Burnley, 2-0, another clean sheet. And against Barcelona, dominant, very dominant, a 3-0 win. Against Arsenal, it was a 1-1 draw, but even against Arsenal, when they were man down, they drew the game with control defending. So these matches show better shape, cleaner positioning, and more confidence from the back four, especially in high-pressure matches and moments. So for Chelsea to look calmer, more coordinated, and harder to break down, the data points to one simple conclusion. Chelsea concede considerably more goals in matches where Tosin plays and show stronger defensive consistency without him. So when Chelsea fans are saying he either needs to be shipped off, sold, I don't know, some even say arrested, which I know they are joking, but it's a bit too far. But I understand where they are coming from. So I think the best option is that they try and loan him out to an Italian team, take him to the Serie A, because we know how defensively the Serie A are good for that. So once he finds his way to the Serie A, he can better help improve his defensive prowess. So that's with Tosin, because one thing that I find it so funny was Tosin is 6'6". He's 6'6", yeah. And this guy can't win in the duels, and I'm not kidding. And even a friend of mine jokingly said that when you put Tosin against Kevin Hart might most likely win an area duel over Tosin. I don't want to believe that because it's absolutely absurd, but with the way this guy is playing, I can't put anything past him. But hopefully, I hope he improves his game, because a player can always improve, and I'm here for it. So we are not actually clowning or trolling him. We are just hoping it gets better for him and the Chelsea team. So we move to a missing piece that Chelsea obviously were lacking, which is in the person of Moises Caicedo. So in this loss, Moises Caicedo's absence was felt because he's quietly become one of the most important players in the Chelsea squad. His energy, his recoveries, his ability to shut down transitions were all missing. So Leeds targeted Andre Santos, pressed him aggressively because they know that they were going to win the key midfield battles where Caicedo was not involved, because he usually controls that. A lot of what Leeds did was because Chelsea were missing their anchor, which was Caicedo. So this game was actually very important for Leeds to win, because I'm going to give credits to Leeds too, because they needed to win this game. They had lost 4 straight games, and the coach was under pressure after pushing Manchester City in a narrow 2-1 loss. He knew what he had to change, because he switched to a 5-3-2, targeted Chelsea's weakened central defense and forced mistakes. It was a direct, effective plan, and it did work, and Chelsea struggled to adjust to it. So kudos to the Leeds manager for setting up his players to actually push and go for the win. And Calvert-Lewin was superb. He was actually superb because he was pushing, and he got his goal. So when we are talking about Chelsea's problems, sometimes people forget that there are 2 players in the squad who are underperforming. And Chelsea fans have been saying it, but they've not been saying it enough. And I think they need to amplify their voices more, which is in the Delap and João Pedro. So we seriously need to have a serious conversation about those 2, Liam Delap and João Pedro, because João Pedro, he was an outstanding player at the Club World Cup, but since then he hasn't been anywhere near that level. He's just a shadow of himself. Maresca keeps using him as a number 10, but it's not his role. He isn't creating, isn't linking play, and loses the ball too easily from unnecessary dribbles. Something needs to change, either a new position or time on the bench to reset for him to fight for his place in the team, because it seems currently he's not giving anything to the team. And I just want to understand, I just want someone to let me understand from their point of view, how is it possible for Liam Delap to be a striker for Chelsea? Because I think it's time for Chelsea fans to seriously apologize to Nicholas Jackson. At least with Jackson, he will always give you the hope of scoring. Even if you don't see the goal, there's the hope that he might give you a goal. But you see Delap, he doesn't even give you the hope at all. So not to talk of the goals itself. And my advice to him is that, I'm not trying to be a troll here. He's still young. I think 22. He can still find another career. He can go to uni and become a professor or something, because this striker business, I don't think it's for him. Because when Pedro was shining in the Club World Cup, Chelsea, they wanted to go in for a striker. They were thinking of Resumen. But when they thought they had solved their problems with Pedro and maybe Delap also supporting and be a striker, they squashed the idea of buying a striker, and it is costing them. It's costing them dearly. If the Chelsea team can't get a striker next January, I think it's better to recall Jackson. It's better lamenting about chances missed instead of nothing at all. So that's my honest opinion about that. Chelsea may be losing them, but I think they are far from done and far from finished. We can never take them out of the conversation. This is the same thing that went on beaten through November. The quality is still there. Some players either need to stop playing for the team, the club, and find a new sport. Others need to be re-evaluated, and Maresca has to lock in a system that maximizes the core strengths of the squad. And it's good to have Cole Palmer back, because I know that my guy would will start putting up the performances he's known for. That's all I have for today. See you in the next one. Like, subscribe, and let's keep building the commentary district together.